And greetings, everybody. Hello. It is the 23rd of September. It is a Tuesday here at MMO Buff. We're all kind of a bit wonky, and I'm an Eskimo today because I am freezing. Anyway, welcome. You're going to hear some white noise. That horrible white noise, unfortunately, we can't quite fully get rid of. It's coming from Foghladha.
No,
Sorry.
it's coming from...
It sounds like a dot matrix printer.
It's coming from a certain large brand of computer manufacturer that we probably can't say in air or they'll sue us.
Nah, let's not go that route.
Sad panda.
It's where blank left his D at the start of the name.
Stuck it right on in there.
Wow, you just went there. Anyway, hello everybody. It is Pseudo. I am joined by the hostesses with the mostesses with the best sequin dresses you can ever find anywhere on Twitch, and that is Screenager.
One day we should actually bring those dresses out.
It would be nice. We could probably do it for a 50th episode, kind of a special. And then also Blank Space, the real Blank Space, who is real.
Hi everybody. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Thanks for being here.
You sound like the depressed blank space.
Hi everybody, thanks for being here. My name is Real Blank Space. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm the Big King of Twitch TV, and we are super excited to talk about communities and sorts of things here. We're going to pass this along to our guest.
Which is actually on your other side on my screen, but that was pretty darn cool.
Down.
And yes, our guest is...
Welcome everyone. Thanks for having me.
From Gashka. You should definitely check them out.
As if you couldn't tell.
Yes. So, out of curiosity, when's your next magazine coming out?
October. We pushed it back a month because we got a really good interview from American McGee, actually.
Ooh, is this about Alice?
Hey.
Please tell me it's about Alice.
It's about the Alice movie that's coming out, as well as the journey of American McGee's life, from being born over in Texas to where he's at in China now.
There's a movie.
So, yeah,
they
the third part is a full-length movie.
I have to just make a note.
Fully funded by Kickstarter, and yeah, it's really good. They bought the rights to do the movie. They got it in production. They got the original actor voices. It's looking good. Right,
Blank, do remind me after the show. I've got to remember to lose my shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to put that one off. Yep, okay.
So this time he's stepping into the minds of some of the biggest inventors like Thomas Edison and Jules Verne. I mean, it's Oscar Wilde. And basically Alice is going through all their different minds, so it's kind of cool.
So basically, they're going to be even more twisted than her own.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so we are here today, and we've had shows before about
community.
Safety. Community. We've never had a show about community before. Never.
I was just going for I was going for the widest, easiest target I could.
Go on, Blank.
No.
You were gonna lead us in somewhere. I don't know where you were going. It's kind of like we're ice skating, and I get in line behind you until you bring us to the next topic.
Okay.
Unless it's a whole cluster. So where would you like us to go, Mama Josie?
It's Mama J. She's back.
I'll stick with boss, thanks.
Great. Please don't call me boss. Please don't.
You're totally the boss.
But it's such an insult to me. Ever since Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, where you have a Nosferatu going, "Hey, boss, what's that you're doing, boss?" It's such an insult.
New thing happening. Hey, boss, what are we doing? What's the next topic we're going to do on the show here? Hey, boss. Can we talk about these safe community deals of what? Huh?
Yes. Okay, so we've talked a bit about being secure in your community, and now we're taking it a little bit bigger, deeper, more in depth. I don't know. The best way to phrase this is we have had Blank bring up something interesting in the last show, and we were just like, you know what, we should probably tackle this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by not grilling our guest because he's been grilled before, which gives us a hell of a lot more time to just poke into this topic. So let us start off with the very first question. When we talk about safe communities, what do we mean?
Wait.
Oh.
Wait.
Whoa.
So you brought us in, and now I have one. We didn't write it in here, and I apologize. We have one happy little disclaimer we're going to put in here. We may talk about some sensitive subjects. We may talk about your community. We might talk about our experiences. Please understand that we are all here to have a conversation about whether it's our opinions or our perspectives or things like that, and to enjoy the conversation at hand. And if you get a little too riled up about something that's being said, please feel free to get back to us on email form or talk about it in chat.
What's the email, Black? What's the email?
It's boss@MMOBuff.TV. So that's what you should send your stuff to.
I do not have time to create another email account. No, it is voice@MMOBuff.TV. Oh my gosh, people don't do it.
Okay, so Ed was going to talk about safe communities. I just wanted to make sure we put that out there first. So.
Well, it's a
at least that decision's made for me then. So what do we mean by a safe community? It's a very wide-ranging term. It's something that as community leaders or community builders may have found is quite difficult to pin down. Everyone says they want to be part of a safe community so that people can be themselves. But the underlying aspects of how you build that and what it means, that has a lot of depth to it, and it can be quite difficult for you to sit down and say, well, this is a safe community. It's something a lot of people just feel in their gut, and they grow organically. For me, a safe community is somewhere that people feel free to be truly themselves, to expose their offline persona to other people, because essentially what I found my day-to-day dealings with people online is that your avatar, your persona you build up, your gaming handle, it's a barrier. There's obviously more physical barriers, but in terms of the emotional barrier, people build these things up. So everything from your character that you're playing in game to the way you perceive yourself and project yourself onto and into that game and onto other people. That's a barrier to getting to know people. When you feel safe in a community, you expose more of yourself, of your offline self or your true self. Hard to kind of pin down exactly which of those is which, whether you project your persona in real life or in game. But a safe community is somewhere that people feel free to be truly who they think they are, and without fear of repercussion.
Okay, so basically, it's a place to feel safe. And what you define as safe to just
a safe community is a place to feel safe.
A place to feel safe, apparently.
That's not quite what I said, but let's move on anyway from there.
No, I'm just teasing on you because I'm just teasing you. I'm cold. I'm not fully on the brain today because I've been completely jerked out of my schedule, so I'm a little off. So I do apologize to people watching.
Try harder.
When I see you, mister, nice. And I'll be seeing you very soon. We'll see how safe you are then. How safe you are in the MMO Buff community. Finger point, finger waggle. All right, so let's move into what we personally define for safety in our own individual communities. What do you guys have in your communities that you feel offers a safe environment? And we'll start first with you, Blank.
Oh, wow. I was expecting that to go the other way.
I
have two.
You're just gonna ride on my coattails the whole show now. He's like, spotlight right there.
I have two different communities because I like to distinguish them. There is my Twitch chat, and then there's Viking Nation as a whole. Within my Twitch chat, we keep things kind of loose. There are people that come in. We actually do allow trolling to a point. Bad trolling is not allowed. Trolling, I get trolled all the time. People love it. It's part of the fun. But within that space, there is a very, not gray, but black and white line that's once you cross it, you're then gone, you're banned. So people know that they can mess around, they can joke with each other. Moderators will reel people in if they go too far, especially on the political, that sort of stuff. And then within Viking Nation as a forum on the actual website, we have small gating things like unless you're 18, you can't get in. But we do make exceptions for people that have shown a lot of whether it's responsibility in real life or the intellect or the ability to deal with bigger conversations. So that's how we
maintain our safety within those two online spaces, if you will.
Okay, what about you, Benjamin?
So, what I wanted to jump into what Blank was saying was I wanted to say, Blank. So, in terms of those communities, and in terms of safety, what are your priorities? How do you define your priorities in those communities? For example, your Twitch chat, your priority in making that community safe, is your priority having fun in that, or is it creating diversity, or is it, what's your priority when you try and build that community? What's the one thing that you kind of set your stall on, so to speak?
The platform, the Soapbox, is really healthy gamer, so we talk a lot about that. But when it comes to the fun, we allow them within reason, and I very much look at it in legal terms. If a reasonable person sees a topic and is offended, they may say so in chat, and then somebody else can then work through it. You need to be adults. I believe in personal responsibility. If you're having a heated conversation, it happens in Twitch chat. I look over, I'm like, what the F are you guys talking about? If they're having a conversation and they can work through it as adults, mature folks, cool. If it gets out of hand, moderators for myself, and it's very simple to see when people are being overly generalistic, they're insulting each other, they're not talking about the topic, you kill it, you say goodbye, take a time out, 10 minutes. If that's not enough, you can have a ban. You want to maintain a good atmosphere, a fun place to have a conversation. I love sitting down and discussing things, especially with people that disagree with me, because that helps me learn more about the world around me. If you can't do that and you don't have that tool set, then you can go happily F off somewhere else, because I ain't got time for that. So
yeah.
Okay.
I totally disagree with that.
This should
I was like, wait, really?
No, not really.
Of course he does. It makes for a great show. Absolutely.
I was like, yes.
Now handle it like adults and work it out. Okay, so
Well,
back to you. Your safety in Gashgia.
Our community is very different than most communities, as you guys probably know. We kind of consider ourselves the family, and with that we try to build ourselves like a family. So brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, grandpas, grandmas, really kind of a close, tight-knit group of people that come together to have fun. I do run the Gashgia like my father ran his family and like my grandfather ran his, and that's that blades out, not in. You keep those attacks and personal attacks and the grudges outside of the family, not inside. You do not let that come into the house.
So you're running like a
so if
mafia.
you're having a bad day, you don't come home and take it out on your family. You go out there, take it out on a football field, or take it out in a boxing ring, or whatever your crutch is. So my grandfather was a basketball player at Michigan. My father was a wrestler. I'm a football player. So it's you got to have a healthy avenue to take out your aggression where it's not coming back in on the people that you love the most. So for us, I kind of see a personal safety and like a community safety on kind of different levels. There's ideally the top level is making sure that your players are actually safe. So protecting their security online, protecting their security offline. If you see something going down that's really going down, I've had to call the police before. I have actually called the police on one of our gamers because I thought he was going to kill himself. And that was kind of traumatizing. I did not want to see him take his life over something really stupid, so I got involved. I called the local police department. I did a welfare check on him, make sure that he was okay, and he came back and thanked me for it later. So it's really something that, as a guild leader, you don't have to cross that line. You don't have to make it personal. But to me, every single person in my community matters to me, and I love them like family. So I think that the actual safety of your people, if there's a big hack, I let everybody know. I tell them, hey, change your passwords again. Yeah, it's the 97th time that you got to do this, but do it because it's going to protect you. If somebody's running into trouble in real life, I do whatever I can to try to help them. I've helped people find jobs, when they're down and out. It's just, what can you do to build your community both in-game and out? That's really what matters. And then you have your safety, as in being able to do what you like to do in a game without being criticized, without being ridiculed, without being insulted constantly. And we really kind of had that blades out, not in rule to kind of prevent people from attacking one another within the community. And first offense, we'll talk to people, say, hey, calm it down. There's certain ways that you can go blades in, where we just kick you out and don't even worry about it. Go about our business. But most of the time, we'll talk to them, and they'll have one or two angles. Usually, they'll either be really aggressive with you and start insulting you, which is like, bye, case closed, done deal. Or they'll be apologetic, and then you welcome them back and say, hey, just cool off. It's good. And they'll go about their business. They'll apologize or whatnot, and everything will be good. The key is not to let bad blood form in your house. If you start getting bad blood in your house, that'll start to fester, and eventually you will have a fragment of your guild break off. People will take sides, and you'll just fracture right down the middle. So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, that's
I tend to see. So you go on, Sido.
When it comes to handling things on an ownership level or a guild leader or what have you level, where you're a part of the upper management in some way, I like the way that you're breaking it down between the personal interaction versus just sort of the global spectrum of how you protect your community, because you need to be able to, in an online world, pay attention to, hey, has this place been hacked, or do you guys need to change your password? Who's using their authenticators? Who's not? Who do I need to teach? All those little things help to do things. And I'm just going to throw in here #SecureGamer. That's my thing. You've got the healthy gamer there, and you've got a secure gamer here. And I've just gone blurry like you were for a second. That was weird. But anyway, when it comes to the whole concept of bad blood, there is something to be said for fostering a community of trust. It's a very difficult thing because trust, once broken, can be incredibly easy to get back. But it's also, for some people, very difficult for people to trust. So, when we're talking about safety, at least for me, when I think of safety, I think about people, and I don't want to use this word, but it's the only word that comes to mind, but it's almost like a gang mentality, sort of I know you've got my back. If I've had a really bad day, I know you've got my back. I know if I'm walking around in, like, say, Gamescom, and we're walking with a group and someone starts something with me, I know you've got me. I know you will prevent me from getting physically harmed. I know that you will pull me aside and keep me safe in case something weird happens, or if I've had a bad moment or something. That kind of safety is another thing that I see a part of communities as well, but it can be incredibly difficult to foster, especially if someone accidentally breaks it or does something that pushes someone too far or what have you. So I just want to throw in my definition of safety there, but I completely agree on the sort of separation. But you can't always, with a large community, you can't always give everybody 100% of your time.
No. You
can't. It's a good way to go mad.
I think what we're seeing here, though, is we're seeing a split, putting information security on one side, because that's not really what Blank, I feel, was talking about when he brought up creating a safe space. No. What I feel that it was more about emotional safety and emotional states, and taking into account emotional states. What we're seeing here is we're seeing a definite split between openness to an extent, and versus, I wouldn't say control is quite the right word, but almost like openness versus responsibility to some extent, where Blank is certainly with his Twitch channel, has a view that you tend more towards being open and having personal responsibility, and where in more of a, say, a guild or structured community, you may say, for Gasioch, have a bit more of building bonds and putting safety in place and having a bit more of a ground rules, so to speak, in place. So there is, you've got to find somewhere in between that where you feel your community sits, it seems.
Alright, listen, we're gonna start smashing into some of this stuff because it's important. I can't keep sitting here, so I'm going to start throwing some fun stuff out. All right, so Foghladha, you run a very large organization, right?
Yes.
Now, let's say, for example, 3 well-spoken intellectual gentlemen come to you and say, we like your organization, we're going to sign up, we're going to do all the logistical things that you ask us to do. Good to go so far?
Sure.
Okay. They also let you know as part of the application process that they are very proud of the fact that they are Republican, gun-toting KKK members. They don't want to play games with black people. They will not antagonize them. They will not call them names. They're ask for a nice, safe space within your community. They like your community. They just don't like a certain part. That's how they grew up. That's what they believe. They don't cause any issues. They don't hurt anybody. Other than the fact that they will not mingle or work with folks that are a different color than they are. How do you view this? How do you deal with this as a guild leader? And how, I mean, this is the sort of stuff I'm really interested in, because I've had to deal with a whole bunch of this just recently. So what's your opinion on this? What's your take?
Okay, well, first, Gashki is not like most guilds. We actually allow just about everybody in. There's no real application process. You just have to look at the website, and as I tell people that ask if they can join the community, I ask them to go to the website, take a look at it, read it, know what you're getting into before you get into it. Because once you're into it, you're going to have to abide by our rules. You're going to have to follow our etiquette. And if somebody was to apply that was, say, in the KKK and really hated anyone that wasn't white, they would probably have a very short lifespan within the community, because sooner or later that side of them would come out. I mean, you can't be personal with somebody and not have that kind of personal aspect of your life come out. If you're a gun-toting racist, you're going to come out. You're going to be out of that closet, and you will be out of the community probably within a month. I'm
trimming the rest of the stuff off, though. They're coming to you, and they're being upfront and honest, and they said, we like this, we're cool, we're playing this game, let's pick any of them with you folks. But
as long as they follow the rules, no problems. If they cross that line, then they get talked to just like anybody else.
Like,
you don't have to be a gun-toting racist from the KKK to bend the rules and step across that line. I mean, you could be anyone. You could be Susie Homemaker. It don't matter.
Susie Homemaker.
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Go ahead. What was that, Ed?
So since we're veering into this, what I'd ask Blank is that if we're looking at dealing with this sort of situation, if we're going to get into these sort of ideas, how exactly did... Sorry, I just want to ask this. Theoretically, how did this person apply and then go, by the way, I'm a gun-toting racist?
Well, for the sake of examples, I have been in organizations where I did not personally, because I was an officer, but I had to deal with people that were like, somebody said, hey, I'm gay, and my boyfriend's upset at me, and there were issues that came out of that. I've seen things where somebody said they were a mute, and they weren't really a mute, and it caused issues. I'm trying to break down some of these things that have happened in a much broader, safer conversation, because whether it's the guy who likes the comedian that the feminist doesn't like, whether it's a worldview, whether it's an Islamic man who believes women should always be all covered up, there are many different worldviews, and our online world is expanding. What I really want to talk about is how do we deal with these sort of situations as they happen. I mean, we're not of the mindset that just, hey, F them, ban everybody, or we don't let these people in. So I'm trying to break down where are these lines? Where are the black and white lines where we say, you're not allowed in my community? Or if you act and behave a certain way, you are allowed. Because this is a very sensitive thing, and there's a lot of conversation happening right now between a lot of people on who's right, who's wrong, and where and how these spaces get made. Because
let's take.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Before you go there.
Well, let's take. Well, I was just about to pass it over to you anyway, Josie. But I was going to say.
Okay.
What I was going to say was that let's take Blank's example, theoretical situation in Unicorn Guild, and let's take the first part of that, where someone does apply and does say, I'm a gun-toting racist. Would you not say that, first off, one of the things about setting your goals is setting those parameters as to what you feel is important in a safe community is starting at recruitment and who you bring into your community?
Well, absolutely. But I mean, I think if someone applied, they wouldn't actually put on their application form, I'm a gun-tooting racist.
But
they might put, they might put something like, I happen to appreciate guns. I'm a massive supporter of George Bush. I think that was the last Republican president. I've been out of the country
white
for
hoods.
so long.
The
I am
point-
so screwed.
The point I'm making is that's
but-
your first opportunity to set your sort of social
Well, see,
expectations of a person.
this is to me where it goes back to something that Ben had brought up. You know, if you understand what your rule set is, so if you specifically state in your rule set, we do not want people who wear the color blue. I don't care. We don't want women in this guild. Let's go a little more controversial. Women are not allowed in this guild, okay? If that is your parameter and a woman applies, well, you've got your rules written out. You're saying this is not what we will accept. This is just something that we have for ourselves. And that's an okay thing. You're making it plain. You're making it black and white. You know what the boundary is. You have your black and white
not the
box.
greatest way. Possibly
Hold on.
not the way you meant that to sound about saying that's an okay thing.
No, what
Like,
I mean is if you are clear, because this is something we brought up before. We want to have safe, secure communities. We want to have positive communities, but we also accept the fact that there is a place for the communities of idiots and trolls. And by trolls, I don't mean the kind of cute ones that you keep and rub their heads and they go all poofy. I'm talking about the real, violent offenders of attacks just because they can be anonymous.
Not like this one.
Not like that troll. And it's really hard to see, although the green eyes really do show. Or the yellow eyes. Wow. Just wow. Anyway, so, we've talked about there's a need for different types of communities out there. Now, if you are clear in your rule set to start off with before someone applies, like he said, if you've read our rules and you are willing to accept our rules, then you're more welcome into our community. Now, for me, at least in my case, if someone were to apply to that, let's say to the MMO Buff Guild, all right, let's say they went to apply to the MMO Buff Guild and they put in, I'm a gun-toting racist. Well, guns don't bug me in the slightest. I'll get into a conversation with you about guns. I actually am a really good shot. However, I would state we have people in this community that would make it uncomfortable for you because you specifically are looking for a type of community that is not as accepting as we are. And that is not going to make it a very comfortable place. You may like our ideas and our goals. For example, you may like the fact that we want to, spread healthy gamer to the world. You may like the fact that we want to spread secure gaming to the world. You may just like the fact that Ed is Scottish. Who knows? But the rest of our community isn't going to appeal to you because they don't have that kind of worldview. So, that's one way to
Just
handle it.
keep on talking.
Go
Keep
ahead.
on talking.
No, go ahead,
You
Blake.
explode.
I don't want him to explode.
We are skirting around stuff. We are beating around this bush that I want to hit. I want to touch the middle of.
I don't
Then
think
go
we
to it.
are.
We're talking about stuff that we've talked before. We've talked about the forums and setting up stuff. This is what I consider. Yes, if you're new here, you may be learning something new. What I want to talk about is the deeper, because we've got another 25 minutes before I have to go. The deeper issues that are affecting both online folks right now, whether it's Gamergate, feminist, gays, lesbian communities, that is what I want to hammer into because it is a ginormous conversation that's happening right now, and I've been affected by it myself as much as more than I thought I was going to be. So what I'm looking for is not just my first example, but let's go even deeper. There was a guy who got really upset publicly on Twitter and on YouTube. There was a local convention that was for gay gamers, and he asked to go. And he was like, hey, this sounds cool. I live in this area. I would like to go. I believe it was in Canada. And he was told he couldn't because he was not gay. Now, what I'm asking you as community leaders is where do we start drawing the line of inclusive, exclusive, because I've gone to gay clubs and am not gay myself. I have friends that I go to support and hang out and have a good time. This is an online space. This is a conversation that needs to be happening about where do we draw these lines. Everyone's about breaking down barriers, but online it seems to be either we accept everybody, or, we don't. And,
Okay. What you're bringing up is I think a valid thing to tackle, but I'm going to throw out there's two things that an organizer of an event has to keep in mind. Is the event for, we'll say gamer, for the specific thing, the gay thing, specifically being designed as a place for people to be gay and be safe Or is it a place where you just allow everyone in, but the focus is on celebrating being that sexual orientation? Now, here's the thing. If you say to somebody, oh, I am not gay, or sorry, you're not gay, but you're allowed to come in, how do you check for the viability of keeping it safe? How do you verify that just because someone is, and this is going to sound great, gay who comes in isn't going to be looking to cause problems and harass the other members who are gay? How do you draw this line here? And honestly, I don't think there's an easy answer to this. It really is not as simple as a black and white thing. It isn't. And anyone who sits there and tries to say to solve this, it's either this or this, you're forgetting human ethics. There is no such thing as a simple set of ethics that everybody in the world applies to. It doesn't work that way. So
no, but on a community front, you can frame your community in a certain group and go for a demographic. Yes. It's marketing. I mean, that's really what this comes down to, is marketing. How are you going to market your product to others? You know, it's you build a construct around a frame, and then you do everything in your power to keep everything going inside that frame. And anything that's not fitting that frame isn't going to be, they're not going to have a great time with your community. I mean, if I got somebody that really hates everybody and wants to be mean and cruel to everyone, he's probably not going to like my community very much, because he'll be there for a couple days. It really is a matter of how you pitch your community and how you reach out and, how you interact with the rest of the community that then attracts people to join your community. If you're nice, you'll tend to attract nice people. If you're old, like myself, then you'll find more old people. It's it's just kind of how you frame it. I mean, if you look at the Goshki community, you look at our numbers of people that are under 18, and you'll find maybe a couple hundred, if that. Over 18, vast majority of the community. You go over 50, and you'll find pretty much about 25% of the community is over 50. And that's just because of the demographic that we're aiming at and the right. pitch that we're making. As I tell a lot of people out there, our guild is not for everyone. It'll be home for many. But and that's really what it is you need to find out what you as a player want in a guild. And as a person that's running a guild, you need to figure out what you as a organizer wants out of a community, and you build a framework around that. And then you just stick to your frame. You build a nice rule set that keeps things yes or no, and don't let maybe be there. You just got to have the line in the sand that you say, hey, you cross that, you're gone. Sorry, I like you, but you chose to cross that line, not me.
I want to bring this up because this is a fantastic point. It doesn't make a difference whether what we're talking about is somebody who is gay or somebody who is white or someone who celebrates a particular religion or someone who is a particular politics follower or whatever. It makes no difference. Any group can be attacked. GM Fog brought this up, and that is so true. Any group can be attacked. It makes no difference. And some apparent disabilities, for example, blind people, people who are blind or people who are blind, it's kind of obvious that they're blind because they usually have a seeing eye dog or they have a walking stick. It's a visible thing that people can see. So some people like to poke fun at them. Some people like to make fun of them. There are people out there who are the world is full of really insane people. That's all I'm going to say. But any group can be attacked. So when we say, if we're talking in particular about a gay issue, insert women, insert men, insert homosexual, heterosexual, bi, lesbian, trans, whatever. Insert that word into our sentences. So don't think we're just trying to focus on one thing here. And I want to make that very clear.
So to some extent, I think what we are saying here is that openness comes with a level of personal responsibility. Is that a fair comment to make?
I would say so.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Right, okay, because we're saying that anyone can be attacked. We've recently, something that was brought up in the chat in passing there about the Scottish referendum actually twigged a couple of things. Any group can be attacked because you have a label. Okay? So yes and no campaigners in the Scottish referendum had a lot of animosity between them. Entire groups were attacked because another group thought something of them. Even physical attacks went on because a certain group or a certain subsection of that group used it as a label or an excuse. And to some extent, no matter how much construct you put in terms of your guild and how much effort you put into that, the more open you are, the higher the degree of personal responsibility there's going to be. People that don't take that level of personal responsibility are just highly likely to use labels as a banner or an excuse or a target. So what you have to understand is that when you're building a guild, you have to decide, or when you're building a community, you have to decide how much personal responsibility you expect people to be able to go ahead and use, and how much personal responsibility you expect people to have in that community is going to directly relate back to the level of, how should I put it, comeback if they misuse that. So for example, if you have a very open guild, you accept pretty much anyone, you're going to expect a high level of responsibility from an individual in terms of getting on with someone. You're also going to find, though, that you're going to have a much higher level of micromanagement and potentially a much stronger reaction than a community where you've got a great deal of construct already in place to recruit a certain type of people, to set down rules already, and to have a policy in place of dealing with people. So in terms of something that you guys can maybe learn is that you've got, when you decide where you're going to place that level of personal responsibility versus social freedom, you're going to have to either take into account you're going to have a lot of micromanagement through to the other scale, where you're going to have a lot of macro management, where you're going to have a lot of stuff in place already. Just wanted to throw that out there because I maybe think we understand that, but I don't want that to get that point to get lost to people that are watching.
I think one of the most difficult things when it comes to trying to offer a community that is safe for your players, whoever it is that you've allowed through your rule set or whatever, the difficulty on the personal responsibility is the fact that there are so many people who like to hide behind anonymity online for either personal safety reasons. I mean, I know some people who are really, really, really famous who play online but never tell anybody who they are because they don't want to be bothered. You know, they want to kind of keep that anonymity there. But I also know some people who are purposefully anonymous, big words today. They're purposely anonymous just so that they can attack others. You know, you have both sides of the spectrum, which is, again, why this is so not a black and white issue in any way, shape, or form. There's so much gray in this. There really is. I mean, is it right for a community to say, we don't want to accept women? Is it right for a community to say, we don't want to accept men?
Let's stay away from right or wrong.
No, see, this is the thing. This is where I was going to say there is no such thing as right or wrong as an answer for these. There really isn't.
Depends on what you want to do for a framework. I mean, if that's what you want to do, that's your prerogative. I mean, I've seen people form up guilds that are only people that play ranger classes, or, you know, I've seen all women guilds. There was quite a few of them in Warhammer and Dark Age of Camelot. There were like straight, you have to be a woman to get in. Like, they have Facebook groups that they make you join, and they make sure that you're a woman. And yeah, it's.
So here's something that I think. Okay, so here's something that I think Blank might have something
Put the
to
axe
say about.
down.
No. Actually, the axe can stay up. So the idea of I'm veering entirely off my show notes a bit here, but the idea of a, let's say, female only, right? Because that's the idea of a female only, or a gay only, or a white only, or a black only, or a specific type of guild like that takes only one denomination, let's say, of person or people. Don't you feel that is more likely to attract trouble? Not saying it should, but from a real world point of view, is that more likely to attract problems or trouble or animosity than a community that is more inclusive? And I think we should let him go out the box now.
Hold on. Before I let him go out of the box, I need to give a real world example of something that I saw occur.
He's gonna have to wait.
He's gonna have to wait. I'm waiting to see what he does with this.
His head's gonna pop.
Ubuntu is a operating system, and it has a community. And very recently, they've allowed a group to be created called Ubuntu Women. Now, the purpose and the goal of Ubuntu Women hold on, listen to this, Blank. Anyone can be a part of it, male or female. But the entire purpose is to try to get more women into Ubuntu, into the community, because the population was so skewed. Is that an okay thing? Blank, you're allowed to talk now. I released the gag from Z.
Oh, hold on, just one moment. Go ahead, Blank.
No, I'm sorry. I got one more. No, I'm just joking.
I put my disclaimer out. I've been very cautious and careful with these conversations because I've just recently got attacked for a bunch of stuff and had to back away from things. I'm going to say some stuff that's going to piss people off. If you have, you can get on my Twitter. Feel free to mail me, whatever. Putting people into specific groups is the same as putting black people at the back of the bus. I'm sorry. A group like Ubuntu who's trying to encourage something or other, but it just has the name Ubuntu Women or something on it, cool beans. But when you say, and I've been in groups like this, only male gamers are allowed in here, and the premise was male gamers are better than female gamers at the time. I even subscribed to it. I was like, cool beans. We don't have to worry about some girl whining about her kids or whatever crap in the background. We're just going to hardcore raid. I don't subscribe to that belief anymore, but at the time, not only did I believe it, but it worked for me. You take people and you say, you know, okay, we're going to the bureau for cars. All the white people get to sit over here, and they're going to go at this time, and all the black people sit here, and the Mexicans go here, and whatever. When you take people and you break them down into that, you're just asking for trouble. And my biggest one, again, I have no problem with the middle conversation about whether it's women, men, gay, transgender, pick whatever it may be, white bros from Maine, whatever. Having this conversation about stuff I'm okay with. It's the outliers that are so ingrained in their thoughts that they will attack other people, that they will they believe in their beliefs so hard. I don't want what's the word, fundamentalist, the extremist, that they will attack other people just in general. Like, and you can my biggest one that I just saw was there were a bunch of people going to some college. There was somebody putting on a speech or some symposium or some friggin' intellectual crap. A bunch of people were going in, and a bunch of a specific group was really upset about it, and they were there yelling and screaming at people going in, and kids were walking up and like, dude, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I just heard that there was a thing here. I'm going in. I have a huge issue with the extreme sides, the polar opposites of any of these that are so exclusive that they will attack just each other just on principle, just because you are of the other. It wasn't okay for, you know, women's rights in America, vote, women's suffrage. The same for that we've done a long time ago before I was here, the equal rights for black Americans. People should have all of these human rights, but the problem is each place is different. So I'm done talking for now, but what I will say, you collapse everybody into this one little group and you say all of the Sunnis in Iraq versus all of these guys over here, it just turns into a shit show much faster. I think those walls need to be smashed down.
See, this is the thing. What you've brought up is not, to me, necessarily a safe community. If you bring up a community or build a community with the intent to harm others, that, to me, automatically negates you from being a safe community.
They're not.
To me,
they're not. They are not getting together to hurt people. They're so ingrained in their thinking. It's not about their goal is like, hey, we're going to go attack people. Their goal is we are so ingrained in our specific thought that we are going to, anybody else who has a different thought is absolutely wrong. The intent is not to get together to attack people. The intent is we believe our position so strongly that anyone else is wrong.
Okay, but see, this is the thing. If someone has an opinion but never tells anybody else that opinion, you would never know that they have that opinion, would you?
Yep. Extremists always tell their opinion. That's what
they do not.
I would love an example.
I'd love to introduce you to a few of the people I know.
An extreme nonchalant? An extreme agnostic? There you are, an extreme agnostic.
Some people have their beliefs. And this is the thing, you know, I understand where you're coming from, because there's something about the concept of when you start drawing the lines in the sand and you start putting people into boxes, it creates issues. I mean, there's this absolutely brilliant song by I'll get it after I get my statement out, but there's this brilliant song, and all he talks about is the fact that I can't stop seeing labels. I look at somebody and I don't see them. I see the designer clothes they're wearing. I see, you know, whether they have red hair, blue hair, or green hair. I see their skin color. I see whether they wear glasses. I see whether they wear Nikes or some other brand. I see that, and I automatically stereotype and label them. I can't stop it. And the thing is, we classify. Human nature is classification. What you do with that classification, though, whether you use that with the intent, like you said, you like to learn about people, you like to understand things, you learn so much from other people. Classification can help you do that, but classification can also be used to help demoralize and subjugate people. Now, when you start going to those extremes, I got a serious problem with you. I can't, I have a problem with that. Now, some people are going to look at that and go, well, you know, that's your opinion and you can be wrong and you believe it so strongly and everybody else is wrong. No, I look at it from the perspective of how I would want to be viewed and also how I want to share with other people. But when it comes to communities, I can see where you're coming from. Is there a way to solve it while still allowing people to feel safe for believing what they believe, for looking the way they look, for, you know, playing the games that they play? I mean, look at the communities when you put ArcAge up against a WoW community. Boom.
Well, this is actually getting onto something that I was just asking in chat a couple of moments ago, is that while what Blank says is to some extent true, and you want to be aiming for communities that are wholly inclusive, whether they have a particular slant or not, at what point and what sort of environments does it become acceptable to create exclusive communities based on a denomination of some sort for the protection of that particular subsection of society? I'm going to go with a really easy example here of Xbox gamers playing Call of Duty and being female. At what point does it go from, say, just as an example, going from, how thin is that line between, and when is it acceptable to get to a stage where you become exclusive because the community around that subsection of people that are gaming together is so toxic that you need to be completely exclusive? Because in the real world, people don't leverage that same level of social responsibility that you would hope that they do. Does anyone want to pick that up?
See, this is where I bring back to what Blank said before, and also something that Ben had said before, and hell, you have even said it before, so now we're going to say it again. It's personal responsibility. In the end, it's always going to come down on you. Whether you are setting up a guild or a community, or whether you are looking for a guild or a community, it's on you to make the choices that are going to be best for you. If you are a woman and you are playing Call of Duty and all you get is trash slammed and beaten up constantly by voice, maybe find your enjoyment by not listening to them, or work some way that's going to work best for you. Because some women are going to step up to the plate and be like, sorry, headshot. Sorry, headshot. Oh, what's that, bitch? You on the ground dying? You bleeding? Oh, sorry about that. Some women get involved and throw it right back in their faces. Other people find it to be so hurtful that they will never pick the game up again. There are so many extremes here. It's a matter of taking responsibility for yourself. I mean, if you know that an environment is insanely toxic and it is destroying your ability to play, I think it's okay for you to say, group up with some people and say, let's play together. That's fine. I see nothing wrong with that. But if you're setting up something with the intent to ostracize others, I don't know.
But
it just gets. It goes
you've
back
kind
to.
of skipped round the question, though. Is it's not. Where's the line between setting up a community that is set up to ostracize others, or to protect a subset?
I think that's the line. I think right there that is the line.
And intent is the actual...
Intent is everything. Intent is always going to be it, because in the end, you take responsibility for the intent. So if your intent, for example, if I am that female playing Call of Duty, and I make that group up, okay? If I specifically say anyone can join, but just don't be a badass troll and start putting people down, That's my goal because, like Ben said, it's written in my little rules. I've framed what I want my community to be. But if I put the group together with the intent to get all the women online to start trash bash talking back, to me, that's a little bit harsher. To me, that's taking it that step too far. But again, that's me. Someone else, Blank, may have a completely different opinion on what that. Ben may have a completely different opinion. You might have a completely different. Everybody watching might have a different opinion.
I can see the cogs turning in Blank's head right now.
But for me, that's the line. But again, I throw it back. Personal responsibility.
I'm gonna just throw this out there because I need to head on out. This is what I'm gonna say, and I will let you guys enjoy your wrap up.
We're not kicking him off the show because of his opinions. He just needs to go, folks. Don't think that.
Because he's wearing a Twitch shirt.
Stop segregating!
That new headset on.
Sexy. When you start segregating people, we are moving backwards. I got into a ginormous fight just recently about safe spaces, which is something that started in the 1980s as something somebody said, if you're gay, a safe space to go to was a gay bar. And as a understanding of a social function, I get that. Somebody being like, dude, you want a safe place to go, you're gay, go to this bar on 6th Street. Nobody's going to give you shit. Or if you, hit on a straight guy by accident, you'll be around other people. Whatever. Safe spaces was cool. As for that, the label for that was fine. I believe, in my own opinion, that every flippin' space should be safe. There are people who are going to, as I said, the outliers who have their opinions. I am a military veteran who has friends who are both the Republican, gun-toting, very, no abortion deal, and then I've got hippie, pot-smoking, not going to pay my taxes friends. But they can have that conversation together about their beliefs and not beliefs and disagree and be fine. They can hang out in the same flippin' physical space, have conversations where they disagree, and even get drunk with each other and still be fine. Why is this not, this is 2014, why in the F is this not something that we can do online? And my biggest problem is it's because of those outliers, those people who cannot come into the middle, have a couple beers and say, bro, I disagree. There shouldn't be these tiny little communities of people that are all exclusive. I don't think that it's healthy for the gaming community, the internet as a flippin' hole, if you will, to continue to do this. Even as a healthy gamer, if somebody comes in and they do the hashtag, I went to McDonald's today, and then the joke is hashtag fatfuckgaming. If I'm like, dude, hey, if that's your deal, cool beans, enjoy it, because I'm not going to shit talk somebody for their own choice, their own
personal responsibilities.
It's unacceptable. Where things are at for as progressive as we are as a society, online is still flipping years behind, and it's pissing me off. And I am doing the best that I can within my own communities to change those things, but the rest of the people out there need to take your head out of your ass and fix your shit. Have a conversation with the other side if you disagree with them, and come to the table, have a couple beers, and say, I disagree on point 1 and 2. 3 is kind of shady, but we're just going to let this go, and there's no need to attack people who are in the middle who don't give a shit about either side. They just want to play a game or have fun or be on Twitter without having to read 9 million hashtags. I'm done. I'm out. Thank you for being here. It was great to see you again, Foghladha. There's a knuckle bump. Make sure your communities are always safe for anybody. Somebody decides to be a shithead, their actions are just shitty, doesn't matter what it is about. Peace. Thanks for being here. See you guys next week.
Don't forget to pause. Love you, Blank. Now, see, I agree with him on that. I agree with him that the internet world is, without a shadow of a doubt, behind. Period.
I think they're fun. I think life is more complex than what we would aim for. I think there are realities to why the internet is behind. At the end of the day, it shouldn't be, but that anonymity and that distance and human nature means that certain groups of people who are not socially well-rounded will unfortunately be present, and they will make use of that anonymity. There's a reason that 4chan exists, and we're probably going to get DDoSed into the back of next week for that comment now.
Please don't do this to me.
But someone's not going to turn up at Eurogamer on Friday and sit there and shout over everything that I say, because you know what? At the end of the day, without sounding like I'm a horrible person, give it about 10 minutes, and either someone will drag my weight or I'll go up and I'll beat them. Because the fact that's the thing though, the repercussions that happen in real life don't happen in the internet, and at the end of the day, that makes it a much more problematic space to manage in terms of a social leadership. So that's why I tend, from my point of view, from my personal point of view, I tend to aim for the sort of openness that Blank has, but I do have rules and I have procedures in place, like Gasioch has, that are around creating an environment that's more like a group of friends. So we have a bit more. I would say I feel we have a bit more openness, than a bit more leeway potentially than Gasioch has. Not a huge amount of difference. Same sort of idea, just aiming for a slightly different end result, but the same sort of idea. Whereas, like I've said before, when you have more openness, you have more risk and you have more levels of personal responsibility. So at the end of the day, guys, you've got to bear that in mind when you build your community.
Absolutely. I mean, for me, I love the people who come and watch MMOBuff. I love the MMOBuff community, whether it's through Twitter, Facebook, here, Reddit, or what have you. They come in, and we have had people flat out, full on disagree with each other about some topic, whether we're talking about a game or whether we are talking about a topic here or we're playing or if we've said something, it makes a difference. And yet at the end of the day, every single person is still just like, cool, yeah, I see your point, and it's just not my thing. We have very intelligent viewers, and I love that. The fact that they do take responsibility and they don't hide behind, hey, I get to be whoever I want on Twitch today because I've set up a new Twitch account, so here I come. They don't do that, and I love that. But there are going to be communities out there that aren't so focused on how people interact with each other as long as a goal gets done.
Yeah, I've run across quite a few communities that actually focus on trolling people, and like their goal, like literally to be in this guild, you have to troll people. And you know, I don't mind those guilds so much because I know that every time I see that tag, that's a troll. They label themselves for you. I mean, how nice of them.
Yeah.
If they want to form up, hey, we're the Jackwagon Guild, go for it. Because then I know where all the jackwagons are. At least I know where you're at. You know, it's better than having you mingling with the sheep.
That is an awesome description.
Jackwagons. He brought that up last time. You know, this is the second time he's done it. Jackwagons is a word of his.
That is a word.
Jackwagon.
Yes.
Jackwagon. I'm so getting one of our artists to try and draw what they think a jackwagon looks like.
You know who you need to ask?
We're gonna get ourselves a jackwagon.
You need to ask Versong. You need to turn to Versong, one of our artists, and just
Versong
say,
draws a jackwagon and just wait for the dot response. That's awesome. I think. Sorry, no, you go on, Ben. If you're gonna.
No, I think that a lot of what we're seeing is that people love to hate. I mean, just in this world in general, people love to hate and they love to propagate fear. I mean, if you look at the media, you look at the government, you look at everything going on today, and it's all about fear-mongering. Everyone's trying to push more fear on people, and people hate what they fear. So all we're doing is propagating hate all over our world. And the biggest difference that I found between, you know, my local community, where I live, and meeting people outside my house, you know, that's my local community. I know these people. They're personally responsible. If they come up to me and, you know, insult me, I don't have to go up to them. I see them. I'm walking down the street. I go the other way, you know. With the internet, that's not so much the case. You can be any name, any place, anywhere, anytime you want, and you have that. Yeah, you know. But I mean, the good news is that the internet's getting smarter and getting more traceable. So even the people that think that they're invisible aren't really invisible. But it really comes down to how are you going to build your community? What do you want for your community? And then recruit the people by your message that you're saying to people to come in and greet the community. And then realize that the world on the internet is a much bigger place. My father had a saying when I was growing up. He said, "Son, when I was growing up, I had to worry about my neighbors. While you're growing up, you're going to have to worry about the whole world." And the internet has brought the world to our doorstep. So we have to deal with every culture on this planet all in one melting pot. Yeah, there's going to be friction. We are the pioneers of this generation. We are going to see through this. We're going to find a solution as humans and grow from this. But, where else in the world has somebody had to deal with every culture at the same time? Nowhere. We are in that generation right now.
True. That's quite a scary thought.
Can I just say, you are now an official holder of a golden soapbox.
Where's my soapbox? Mail it to me.
I will mail you a soapbox.
There.
I have a pile of soapboxes down here for everyone that's had a rant.
All right.
That's the thing. What you say is exactly true. And this is why I stress again, there is no easy answer to this. The easiest answer is not the solution. The easiest answer is for everyone to just be accepting and let people do and be who they want to be. But there's always going to be somebody who, if they're doing what they want to do and being who they want to be, that they will step on somebody's toe. Either because they like chewing gum by smacking in public, or, they like, not throwing their trash into a waste bin. They'd rather just throw it on the ground as they're walking down the street. There's always going to be someone who steps on somebody else's toe, which is why I'm kind of a fan of tolerance. But I'm also a fan of just love. This is why I try to love as many people as I can. Because to me, love is everything, your sister, your friend, your parents, the people who you hold very close to you. In the end, to me, it's literally all about love, which is why I'm the unicorn of this show.
Love to love, Josie. Love
I do.
To love.
I love to love on a level that people will never comprehend.
Anyway.
I love
Ed
you,
needs a
Ed!
Love to love, hate to hate. Words to live by.
That's the thing. I can accept that hate exists, but I just don't, I don't give it credence. I don't know. I'd rather surround myself with love than hate. That's just me. But then there's going to be somebody out there who wants to surround themselves with hate, not love. So,
yeah, I can tell you their life is not going to be a very jolly one.
They may not be looking for
jollies.
jollies.
The people that focus on hate usually have the worst miserable lives. But.
Darth Laser. Oh, that's a great answer to the world. Wow. I'm not even going to bring that up. But love, that's just great. Nice. Everyone's now going to look.
That could be the solution. The solution could also be surrounding yourself with awesome shows from MMOBuff for the rest of the week.
Yes!
And I think we got a few of those coming up, don't we?
Oh my gosh.
Really obvious segue.
We do. We have a lot of things going on. In fact, later tonight, the Game Jam is going to be up on our site for people to start getting more involved in if you are interested in the Game Jam. Do you want to give away the links for the free beta key thingy, competition-y thingy we're doing?
Which one?
Facebook-y competition-y thingy.
Oh, the
we're
Facebook
only doing one thing on Facebook, Ed.
You said the linky thing, not the Facebook linky things. I'm
There's
like, what the heck?
There.
We have
She's got a lot of different linky things,
Congrats.
We have them in the... No, we don't have them in the...
Yes, we do.
Oh, we do have them in the... Oh, look, we were
Someone
organised.
is prepared.
I just wasn't reading, that's all. I'm paying attention, honest.
And he gets on
things.
But yes, look, people.
I only have a degree in computing. It's not like I can work these things properly.
I know, me either. I'm horrible at technology. I can't even use a computer. I'm a woman. Right.
Blank's not even here for that.
I know.
Quick, mate.
He's gonna come back for that.
Watch that. He'll just pop back on. Axe to the face. That'll be great. Anyway, also, for those of you who missed last night, we have a highlight up, or a couple highlights up from last night from us playing Gauntlet, and giving away lots of Gauntlet keys and stuff. So that was pretty cool. We're still looking for people to give us feedback on our website. Please go to MMOBuff.TV, click on the link on the top, tell us what you like, what you don't like, etc. It enters you into a drawing to win swag. Just saying. We also are having a contest for WildStar. Go on, Ed. Tell us about the fancy pants.
So any of you that play WildStar, we're letting you know about this first here on the channel, and then we'll be putting it out to the rest of the internet. Some of you may have found out that WildStar are doing a fancy pants competition. They have some awesome and exclusive in-game codes that they brought home from Gamescom that give you a top hat, a monocle, and some super rare housing items. Now, WildStar are giving away a ton of these, but we are giving away a few too. We have a stack of codes. Ooh, stack of codes right here. But what we decided to do was, rather than do anything in-game, we're going to take this real life. You want some fancy pants gear for your WildStar character? We want to see your fancy pants. We want pictures of fancy pants. The best fancy pants win WildStar codes for Gamescom top hats and monocles. You send those pictures into voice@MMOBuff.TV. They don't have to be your pants, and you don't have to be wearing them.
Please don't stalk people and take pictures of people through their windows. We do not approve of this.
Wow. This is going to be fun.
Now, I'm not discriminating between European or American pants. I'm absolutely fine with either. They are EU codes, mind, so, you know, bear that in mind when you send in your pictures. But send those pictures of fancy pants into voice@MMOBuff.TV. Final decision is Mizfa. Try and keep it legal, and you might win a code.
Try and keep it legal. Legal. Definitely keep it legal. Holy cow. Don't make me report you.
There comes people of Walmart. You're going to get all kinds of nice pants.
It's going to be the man in Tesco down with his camera going like this.
You're going to get no pants.
Oh, wow.
That pants or no pants is a whole different show. We don't
different
do that
show
one.
altogether. Definitely not us.
Yeah.
So, yes.
One pseudo, wrong show.
So glad I'm not checking that mail.
Wrong pseudo, wrong show is correct. Well said.
Yep.
There is a different pseudo. It's a male pseudo who happens to be in the United States. But yes, I'm me. Anyway. Right. So, and to answer your question, Vondon, Ed is from Scotland. He currently lives in London. I am currently in Leeds. And Gashgia, Foghladha, he
I'm in
is
the US.
one with the world.
I am doing a lot of traveling lately,
Take
so
over the
I'm
world.
all over the place.
Yeah. I'm in the UK still. But yes, let's talk about the stuff that's coming up on MMO Buff. Tomorrow, we are still trying to figure out whether the blizzard forecast is going to be occurring or not. It's a little up in the air because we have people trying to figure out what's happening with this thing called EGX. So we still don't know if that's going to go out or not. And we'll just have to have you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and stuff to be informed of said things.
Yep.
Thursday at 1 p.m., we have the data mine. Adam, creator of Fortress Craft, Danny, Patrick, and
He does not
don't
know.
lose his name. Oh my gosh, he has such an awesome
Tom,
name.
Bill,
No,
Steve.
no.
Yeah.
See, now I'm gonna have
Colin.
to go. No, he's got his awesome name. Like, it's seriously awesome name, and I feel really,
Mr.
really
Is it
silly.
Mr. Awesome?
Mr. Fantastic.
Mr. Awesome Duck.
Nope, Falco.
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 Of course, that was an
was my
easy
next
lead
guess.
on Mr. Fantastic to Falco, clearly.
Yep,
Falco.
pretty close.
Okay, those three guys are part of the creative team behind Elysian Shadows, and the four of them are getting together to duke it out over whether indie should crowdfund or not. Last week, it got seriously heated, and if you haven't seen it, check it out on YouTube, because Adam is all, why don't you just go to a bank? Why don't you just go to a publisher? Why do you need to use Kickstarter? And then we started hearing stories about people who were using Kickstarter for the wrong reasons, and that's a debate you don't want to miss. So if you like that stuff, that is Thursday at 1. Thursday night, Raikachi is streaming. Tell him what to do. You control him. Turn him into your own personal Tamagotchi toy. Feed him, clothe him, water him, clean out his litter tray, and tell him what game to play. You can do so with a straw poll that Ed will put into the chat for us because he is awesome like that.
I've already
Friday,
done it.
Friday is going to be a little tricky. We are on 2 hours early because we are going to be streaming live from the Twitch stand at EGX with 3 ArenaNet peeps joining us to talk about Guild Wars 2 and answer the questions you all sent in. Just saying. Saturday, Ulrich will be streaming from noon on, and I believe he's going to be streaming Destiny. And then next Monday, we have our fingers crossed, but we believe we will have a developer from Arrowhead Studios and more Gauntlet item DLC codes to give away on Monday night. And then next Tuesday, we are back here. And, yeah, we have another Campfire episode. I have no idea what we're going to talk about, but we've got one.
If we make it here, we'll talk about something. Probably how much alcohol is too much alcohol for your community.
What I will laugh at is the fact that I can't drink alcohol at all the entire time we are at EGX.
Nice.
I will be completely and utterly teetotal. There is nothing I can do. Why is it called teetotal?
Because I don't know.
I
don't know.
You're supposed to be smart.
I don't come from tea country.
I don't either. I just don't understand why they call it teetotal. I'm just curious.
No one here is English. We don't know about tea.
I certainly don't know about tea. I'm drinking water. Woo!
Although in a blatant plug, if you have a cup of tea and you sat down, you might want to read the new issue of the Gassy Watch magazine when it comes out. Got that one in there before the show closed.
Nice.
Hot damn.
Oh, yes.
Also, if you are looking for a family type community, check them out. He's a really nice guy. I mean,
you can tell me what you think of me.
This is starting to sound dodgier.
He's a super nice guy. He's willing to listen to you.
I listen to you.
But he sure as hell doesn't expect you to listen to him. No. Right.
No. Well, I kind of expect people not to listen to me, but that's different.
That's because it's your fault.
Yeah.
Well,
you know, the great thing about being the central point of a community is that everyone can blame me for everything. So if anything's wrong, it's my fault. And that's awesome, because they're not blaming each other. So they're not just, oh, it's your fault, your fault, your fault. Blame me. I'll be the schmuck.
Absolutely. Now, on this note, this leads me to say to everybody, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for coming and joining us. Do pay attention to Twitter. We've got all kinds of crazy things going on. We've got competitions galore going on. Some stuff about Game Jam's going to be coming up. Let's just say the world is going to explode, and it's going to just spread out rainbows and unicorns and MMO buff shows and competitions. And hearts.
Before we go, can I give one little shout out?
No, you're allowed to give a couple shout outs, not one.
I want to give one in particular, and my mom is actually watching the show right now. G-Ma Fog.
Hi.
That's my mom.
Hi, G-Ma Fog. Hello.
This next month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and she has successfully kicked breast cancer in the teeth and said, "Not in my house." So what Goshki is doing, and what I'm encouraging all of Sanctum of Brawl in Guild Wars 2 to do, and all of you watchers, is go pink for October. Whatever game you're playing, dye your clothes pink. Run around, do your emblems pink, whatever. But go pink for October in honor of the women that have kicked breast cancer in the teeth, and for the women that may someday have to kick breast cancer in the teeth. So
definitely.
Props to all of you.
Definitely.
Mad props to my mom who's gone through that, and she has come out the other side, although unfortunately they've just found some more cells, so we're waiting to hear back from the doctors on that. But yeah. See, this is the thing. Towards the end of the year, I start to go on to my massive charity things. October is all about being pink. November is all about me growing a mustache. I can't wait to show you guys. Because it's all about prostate cancer. My father-in-law survived that, thank goodness. But then December, we have a charity jam. Game jam. So, yes. It's all about charity for the end of the year.
Yeah, we also have the Extra Life event coming up in October for those that are participating in that. Goshki is actually giving away a legendary in Guild Wars 2 to whoever can raise the most funds on the Sanctum of Brawl Extra Life page. So
link it. Link it.
Let me link it here.
And also link it in the show notes so I can put it up.
Just wondering how much. I'm just wondering how many gems a kidney goes for.
Probably less than you would expect.
Is that organ to gem conversion rate just isn't up there?
No, it isn't. Although it has been fluctuating and getting much, 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 much higher in the past a little bit as well, which is kind of interesting. But yes.
And
I'm very sorry to hear that, Fondon. I'm very sorry to hear that. It is not. Any disease or anything is not an easy thing to go through, whether you are the person suffering through it or a caregiver. Both sides, it's painful, it's hard. So, hearts to you.
And that's why you will see us giving props to any charity events that we see out there.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just spreading the words, every little helps.
Absolutely. And don't be surprised if you end up seeing on all of our shows a little tiny pink ribbon during October. Just might show
Have we got that linked? Fantastic. Link is up.
Excellent.
So on that note, I think we can start to wrap and thank everyone in the chat for turning out tonight.
Yes, thank you so much for showing up. Again, it's not an easy issue and there is no easy answer, but the fact that you guys were willing to sit here and talk and debate things out with us says so much more about you than you might realize. So thank you guys for being amazing. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for letting us share our thoughts with you. And on that note, Foghladha, a pleasure. Absolutely, absolute pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
It always is.
Always
Thank
fun.
you very much for coming, dude.
And Screenager,
Yes.
I love you.
Free
I love
hugs.
my cat. Oh, she doesn't love me though.
She denied you. Shots fired by the kitty.
I got cat ass there as we go. Well, that should be my last contribution to the show tonight. Cat ass.
Oh, and to the paused blank space. Bye, Mr. Axeman. And this is Sido with the Campfire here at MMO Buff. Remember, folks, stay safe, stay secure, support each other, and if not, get the hell out and find some other place that will. Toodle pip, folks.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.